Hello everyone, this is Dr. Prashant Katimani. I would like to talk about the homeopathic concept today for a few minutes. It helps for my colleagues and the junior doctors and better understanding of myself regarding the homeopathic medicines. Very important during the treatment of COVID crisis. I am seeing the patients every day who are having the symptoms very similar to the acute viral infection like COVID on the phone and as well as in the clinic. So I'm go on giving remedies and patients are getting help with such remedies, and I would like to share my views and few cases on that. And moreover then I would like to talk about few acute remedies, as well as I would like to differentiate the remedies on the basis of the symptom similarity. So initially I would like to talk about the remedies which are having symptoms very similar to the COVID infection. So the symptoms are very similar to the COVID infections are fever, cough, shortness of breath, generalized body ache, fatigue, tiredness, exhaustion, sometimes gastric complaints associated with vomiting, diarrhea, and etc. So, before understanding the acute viral infection, we have to understand the nature of the symptoms. That is very important. The nature of the symptoms, in the sense, the symptoms like the fever, cough, and respiration difficult, shortness of breath, and moreover, and very important thing is what the patient actually wants to do during the illness. That is very important. Understanding the patient is very important in homeopathy, and what the patient wants to do in illness is very important. And we have to understand the change in the disposition of the patient during the illness, how the patient was before the infection, what happened, and what changed after the infection, and what are the symptoms characteristic in that case. So friends, we will try to understand the homeopathic remedies in acute viral conditions one by one, and I have made a chart of remedies uh, indicated in viral conditions, and this chart I have prepared from uh, Allen's keynotes and Boger's Metamedica, and for the reference of remedies uh, I have seen the chart of Dr. Gaurang Gaikwad. So let's begin. In any viral disease, the symptoms which are predominating is very important. For example, in a case of viral disease, we see fever and cough and shortness of breath as the main symptoms. So it becomes very important to understand the nature of the fever, the nature of cough, and the nature of chills, sweat, and what the patient wants to do is all very important. The first stage or beginning of illness in acute viral conditions in fever, the stages which is predominating is very important. Means in fever, in every fever, there are three stages. There is a heat stage. Heat stage means with hot skin, means whenever you sense the temperature, you feel hot, burning hot, or you feel chill stage with chilliness, shivering, chattering of teeth, coldness of extremities. This is the second stage. This is a chill stage. Or the third stage, that is the sweat stage, means there will be a perspiration, sweating of the particular parts of the body. So once again I repeat, in fever there are three stages: heat stage, chill stage, sweat stage. So we have to understand with the fever, either the patient is having heat or chilliness or sweating. So basically there will be one or two stages alternating, coming one after another. In cases we have to understand the nature or perceive the nature exactly. That is very important. Next, for example, particular symptoms understanding. Example, cough. So we have to understand the nature of the cough here. Cough, whether associated with expectoration or without expectoration, that is very important. There are some remedies having cough with expectoration. There are some remedies the cough without expectoration. Without expectoration means the nature of the cough will be dry, a dry cough, whooping cough, barking cough. That will be the nature of cough. And with expectoration there will be mucus with expectoration, rattling, loose cough, and catarrhal and nasal discharges. Then one is the nature of the cough, with or without expectoration. Next is whether the cough is deep, violent or mild one. That is very important. There are few remedies which are having deep, violent cough and mild one. And next, cough with or without respiration difficulties, like for example, the patient says, I cough and I get suffocated, I cannot talk, I have a breathing difficulty. So this is the respiration difficulty with cough. The patient coughs and have respiration difficulty. Next, cough associated with gastric complaints. The patient coughs and then vomits. The vomiting, nausea is associated, and salivation is associated with the cough. So the nature of the cough is very important, whether the associated with or without vomiting, with or without expectoration. Then the nature is dry, or the nature is deep, violent or mild one, or with respiration difficulties or gastric difficulties, or there can be any other complaints associated with cough. There may be vertigo along with cough. So that is the point. So next, the very important thing is we have to understand what the patient wants to do in the illness. There are many more patients who wants to do peculiar certain things during illness. So we have to understand what the patient really wants to do in the illness. For example, the patient desires few things during illness. For example, the patient may crave for cold drinks, juicy things, warm things, lemons, salt, sweetish things, or else the patient don't want anything. Maybe the patient don't want to eat, don't want to drink, uh, don't want sour, salty, spicy, especially either desires nor aversions. The patient will be having some peculiar uh, characteristic things with the desires and aversions. What the patient wants to do is very important. Wants to eat and drink is very important. Next is what the patient wants to cover, whether the patient wants to cover or the patient wants to uncover. For example, in heat stage, in heat stage, some remedies who wants to cover and some remedies who doesn't want to cover. So for example, I will tell you, wants to cover, wants to cover are the remedies. Example, belladonna. Belladonna wants to cover in fever. Then gelsemium wants to cover in fever. Then nux vomica wants to cover in fever. Then heparsulf wants to cover in fever or sweat or chilliness. Example, China officinalis, cinchona, that patient wants to cover. For example, Eupatorium perfoliatum wants to cover. There are some remedies who don't want to cover, just wants to uncover, just wants to throw off the cloths. Those patients are Bryonia alba. Wants to uncover during fever. Aconite patient don't wants to cover, wants to uncover. Next, pulsatilla patient wants to uncover. Next, arsenic album patient wants to uncover. So wants to cover belladonna, gelsemium, nux vomica, heparsulf, China, Eupatorium perfoliatum. Wants to uncover Bryonia alba, aconite, pulsatilla, arsenic album. So these are the very important hints you will get while talking to the patient, while seeing to the patient. That patient will express this thing. The patient will express either heat stage, chill stage, or sweat stage. Along with that, the patient desire few things. The patient wants to cover or doesn't want to cover. Next, patient wants to quiet, means patient don't want to talk. Patient just wants to sit quiet. This is very important. I have said you, a talkative patient can become absolutely quiet during illness and desire to lie down, wants to lie down. A patient who doesn't want to lie down before illness, then when the patient falls sick, he wants to lie down, don't want to move, cannot move, and want to talk. Some patients wants to talk, wants to be talkative always during the complaints. Before, the patient used to be not so much talkative, but after the illness, the patient wants to talk, patient wants to lie down, patient wants to be quiet. These are the changed dispositions of the patient during the illness. This we have to understand. The patient, he or she is become irritable, restless, anxious, nervous, lively, and excitable. The patient may be before the maybe the patient is so calm, but after the illness the patient has become so irritable. Maybe the patient was not restless, but after illness has become restless. The calm patient may be anxious, and dull depressed patient can be lively, and nervous patient and low spirited patient can be so much excitable. Irritable like bryonia, china, then naxomica, nitric acid. Restlessness like arsenic, uh, rustox, then china ars, antimers. Then anxious like aconite, belladonna, and then naxomica, china, then arsenic album especially. We have very good number of remedies for that. And lively, belladonna, excitement, lively with excitement, belladonna, china, all the china family. So as I said, you particular symptoms has to be understand. Cough, I spoke. Cough whether associated with or without expectoration. Paroxysmal. Paroxysm is very important. So we for better understanding of cough, so we'll understand about the cough, particularly cough paroxysmal. We have a rubric cough paroxysmal. So consisting of means what? See, we have a rubrics here. One cough, just the patient cough once. So paroxysm means the episodes of cough. This is one cough. This is very characteristic in coughs especially. Cough paroxysmal consisting of two coughs. This is two coughs, and there are three coughs. And there are short coughs, means the coughs may be three or four somewhat, and two or three. So long coughs, the patient may cough long, so long that the it's difficult, the patient feel difficult to stop the cough. So these are very important. Cough paroxysmal means in episodes consisting of we have to, whenever the patient is coughing, you have to tune your ears to listen how many times the patient coughs, whether the patient coughs once, two times, three times, or few coughs. Few coughs means some 3 to 5, or long coughs, continuous cough. So this is very important. This we have to understand the nature of the cough. So cough, the nature of cough: dry cough with or without expectoration. So deep cough or mild one, whether associated with or without respiration difficulties or gastric complaints. This is very important. Or vertigo, somewhat like that. Or there are remedies which are having cough with involuntary urination. So whenever the patient coughs, there will be involuntary urination. So whenever the patient coughs, there will be having some pass of stool. So these are very important. So next we'll understand the remedies. So coming to the remedies, first one is belladonna. Very interesting remedy. The belladonna is like the first it's like the sharp instrument of fighting the violent fever. Belladonna are having, people are having sudden manifestation. The fever is sudden. Morning the fever was not there. Afternoon suddenly there is high fever. Afternoon the fever was not there. At night suddenly there is high fever. The predominating stage, I said you before, in every, the stage which is important is predominating is important in acute conditions, especially in fever. So heat stage is predominant, whether chill stage is predominant or sweat stage is predominant is very important. So in fever, in the predominating stage is heat and sweat stage in belladonna. The predominating stage is heat and sweat. Sudden fever, as I said, intense burning. If you touch the patient's body, externally there is so heat. So dry heat externally. One characteristic symptom of belladonna is if you touch the head of the patient, uh, for example forehead, the head is hot. If you touch the extremities are cold. If you touch the head, you feel the patient is having fever. If you touch the extremities, there is no fever. So don't conclude that the patient is not feverish, but it's calling for belladonna. Then sweat of affected parts. The sweat stage is also very important. As I said, heat stage, chill stage, sweat stage. Third one, you might have seen there are cases heat followed by fever. Morning there will be heat. Afternoon, if you take some medicine, there will be either sweat or chills. So this you will be having. So next is the cough of belladonna. The cough of belladonna is a very dry cough, violent cough, barking cough. I said to understand the nature of cough, dry, violent, barking cough, talking aggravation. If the patient talks, the patient coughs. And it is deep, dry, violent, barking cough. That is belladonna along with these symptoms. Then what the patient wants to do. I said you before, what the patient wants to do in illness. What the patient wants to do in illness. The patient wants to be covered. The patient wants to be covered in illness. So wants to cover belladonna. Then what the patient desires. The patient desires lemonades, desires few things. Then what are the modalities? Drafts and lying down. And draft of cold air, cold water, cold things. So the patient will be having belladonna is chilly patient. So cold things aggravate the patient and lying down will aggravate. So this is the state of belladonna. It's a very beautiful remedy, wonderful remedy given in the first stage of fever. I have given this remedy in initial stages of viral fever with 24 to 48 hours the fever permanently subsided in few cases. That's my experience. So you can go with symptomatology still. Next, one of the wonderful remedy in the Metromedica is Aconite. Aconitum napellus is very important remedy for nowadays because the patient is anxious. Now we all are anxious because of COVID and restless that what may happen, fearful that I may be get affected, terror on face while walking outside, or some suspected cases are around and infected cases are around us. We have a state of aconite mind somewhat within us. Some will express, some will not express, but this state is very important. We'll go with characteristics. Fever, sweat predominating. I told you one thing will be predominating, heat stage and sweat stage. There is not much chill stage. It's there, not peculiar. Fever, sweat predominating, sudden high fever with burning. If you touch the aconite patient's hand, you feel so burning. Skin dry and hot. Sweat only on uncovered parts. Means patient wants to uncover, and those uncovered parts will be having some perspiration. So dryness of the mouth with thirst. The patient wants to take some sips of water aconite patient. So cough, again dry cough like belladonna, dry. Hoarse, barking like belladonna. Painful, here in aconite the cough is painful, and here the talking is aggravated, here the inspiration is aggravated. If you inspire the air inside, inhalation, then the patient feels the cough reflex. Again, I said the patient is anxious, restless, fearful, terror on face, like the current crisis. So this, if the complaints are less or one or more associated with this state of mind, you can give, you can think of aconite. Next is gelsemium, one of the beautiful remedies indicated in the first stages of the viral conditions, and I am using this remedy in the first stage with good response. Chill stage predominate. So I said here the heat stage is not predominating, sweat stage is not predominating, the chill stage is predominating. Okay, so chills up and down the spine, up and down the back. So if you ask the belladonna gelsemium patient, where do you feel the chills, then the patient says, I feel the chills start from the back, if not particularly from the spine, they say from the back side. Then one more important thing is the patient is having fever with dullness. Dullness is very important in gelsemium. Here you will not see the dullness. In belladonna and aconite you will not see the dullness much until the patient is so much exhausted. Here the patient looks dull, drowsy and dizzy. These are the characteristics of gelsemium. And the patient is having thirstlessness, don't want to take water, clean tongue like ipecac. Thirstlessness with clean tongue like ipecac. What the patient wants to do? The patient wants to cover. The patient wants to be covered. Wants to cover belladonna and gelsemium here for you. Okay. Then lie quiet and alone. If you ask the gelsemium patient, then the patient says, I want to be quiet, I don't want to do conversations, no talks and all, and I want to be alone, don't want company. So this is very important. What the patient does in illness is very important. See how very characteristic. The patient wants to be covered, wants to be quiet and alone. This is very important. This is the patient symptom. Next, bryonia. It feels difficult to treat without bryonia in the initial stages. Very characteristic symptoms we have. Here the heat stage predominates in bryonia. Bryonia is one of the wonderful remedies. I'm thinking in the initial stages, first stages of viral conditions, slow gradual onset. So you will not see belladonna, you will not see bryonia, the fever suddenly arise of fever. First day, second day, third day, fourth day, slowly the patient says that I have fever or not, no, but it starts with cough. Fever and cough are associated in the initial stages. By the fourth or fifth day, the patient will be having the fever. Along with that, the patient will be having some dry cough. This is very important. Heat with headache, desire to uncover. Heat with headache, along with heat, there is desire to uncover. Chills beginning from distal parts. What are the distal parts? fingers and characteristics. See, this is the beauty of Metromedica. If you ask a person, tell me about your chills, the patient cannot understand from where I have to tell the symptom. But if you focus on the chills and ask him exactly from where the chills begin, see, we study in Gelsemium chills up and down the spine, means the chill starts in the back. Here the chills starts from the distal parts, that is fingers and toes. This is the differentiating point from Gelsemium and Bryonia. And Gelsemium wants to lie quite alone, and Bryonia desire to uncover, don't want to cover. This is very important. And rotatory vertigo means the patient feel surrounding a kind of dizziness and giddiness in rotatory motion. That is important. Along with the characteristic joint pains of Bryonia you will be having. And the Bryonia patient is irritable, money-minded, and think of business, talks of business, all the constitutional symptoms may or may not be, the patient will be having, wants to be quiet. And one more important characteristic symptom of Bryonia is disturbed aversion to being. Wants to be quiet in the sense don't want to be disturbed because the patient is irritable. Disturbed averse to being. If the Bryonia patient is sitting, if you go and disturb them, then they get irritated. Then they may shout on you. So that is very important. Next is, so I thought to add Drosera, one of the remedy, to my work. So this is the remedy of epidemics. I heard that in the Boger. He writes that this is the remedy for epidemics. Now we are facing the problem of epidemics, but it is in pertussis. Pertussis means whooping cough. Okay. So pertussis and whoop. So this is very important remedy. The whooping cough with violent paroxysms. I said you, the patient will be having some paroxysms of one paroxysm, two paroxysms, three paroxysms, and long coughs, short coughs. So here the coughs are violent paroxysms, means long continued and deep paroxysms. Deep hoarse barking like a dog, how the dog barks, similarly the cough is like barking, loud it is. Here you can see in belladonna also barking. Here you can see in aconite also barking. You can see the same barking in Drosera also. So, and we have to individualize with the other things. So here it is Bryonia, and Kali Karv also having this cough. So cough, warmth and drinking and lying down aggravation. What is the modality of Drosera is, if you give warm drinks, warmth to the patient, then the cough excites. If you give some drink, then the cough excites. If the patient lie down, then the cough excites. Next, constriction in the throat, aggravation by talking. Constriction in the sense is it's a kind of holding, strucking, or it's a kind of spasms in the throat. Next is Ferrum phos. Ferrum phos is one of the good remedies for fever. Ferrum fever will be high fever. In Allen's keynotes he written hyperemia, hyperpyrexia, sorry. hyperpyrexia. So it's a good remedy for hyperpyrexia, and he say it is the fever is remittent. Remittent. Remittent in the sense continuous fever in the case of pneumonia. So along with fever, how we have to differentiate other fever with ferrum fever is throbbing shooting headache. That is very important. The headache along with fever is very important. Chills with desire to stretch. The, the early morning after getting up, so we have a habit of stretching our body. So whenever you take a deep rest, then we have a habit of stretching the body, especially hands and legs. So the patient does that in illness. Always desire to stretch. Sweat only in the hands. This is very important. How about the cough? The cough is hacking, means it's a deep hoarse. In the morning, evening, tormenting, spasmodic. Tormenting means it is bothering the patient much. So we have a rubric, thoughts tormented. Tormenting thoughts means it literally disturbs. So the Naxomica patient is having the antisemitic fever, great heat, whole body, burning hot, similarly in aconite, face red and hot like belladonna. Chill, heat and sweat all predominates. So in this case, in case of Naxomica, sometimes there will be chill predominating, heat predominating and sweat predominating. So feel chill on least motion. If the patient walks for little, then the patient feels chilly. In every stage of fever. Thirst with dry violent whooping cough. Dry cough, this is not with expectoration. Whooping with no expectoration. So Naxomica patient is having sensitivity to external impressions like sound, light, touch, odors and all. Patient must be covered. The patient must be covered. This is very important. Wants to cover. Belladonna, Gelsemium, Naxomica, Hepar sulph, China Eupatorium perfoliatum. So next is Hepar sulph, important remedy, especially the chill is predominating here. Fever alternating with chills. Sometimes there will be fever, sometimes there will be chills. Low hectic fever with dry burning, heat in the morning, afternoon and all night. So the patient say, sir, 24 hours I have fever. I have in the morning, I have in the afternoon and all night I was having fever. Then think of Hepar sulph. Chilliness. Patient is highly chilly in the Metromedica along with the Silesia. Hepar sulph patient is highly chilly in such an extent the patient uncovering even single parts will feel chilly. Single parts mean it may be fingers, toes or face, whatever will bring chills. Sweat easily but don't dare to uncover. The patient sweats but don't dare to uncover, must be covered. That's very important. Fever with ENT complaints, ear, nose and throat complaints. This is very important characteristic of Hepar sulph. Dry, hoarse, barking, choking cough at night. The Hepar sulph cough will be dry, hoarse, barking cough like belladonna, aconite and brownium. Choking cough at night, loose in the morning. So in the night cough it was dry barking. In the morning it is loose. There is some changeable in the nature of cough. Weeping with complaints. Chest weakness with rattling. So Hepar sulph patient is very hypochondriacal. Hypochondriacal patients are those patients who are over anxious for not to be so much anxious matters. If the fever is little, they become so anxious that that something may happen in that fever, that the health anxiety becomes 1, 2, 3, 4 plus. Or hypochondriacal patients are, sometimes these patients are like dramatic patients. Means if the problem is little, they will do it more. It's like hypochondriac. Means they are psychosomatic in nature. If something happens physically, their mind cannot be stable in their hands. Anxiety, insecurity, vulnerable. Insecurity about health, vulnerable, emotional, weeping with all complaints. I was having a good case of Hepar Sulf treated with COVID, and the patient was having fever, alternating with chills, and extremely chilly, and dry cough, especially some kind of choking sensation uh, in the throat, along with hypochondriacal anxiety, insecurity. So I treated with Hepar Sulf, and the report was negative, and the patient is doing well now. So China officinalis, Hahnemann's greatest uh, discovery and first medicines to be proven in Mathematica. Intermittency is a very characteristic of China that has to be remembered. Intermittency in on and off and on and off with periodicity. Periodicity means exactly complaints appearing at the same time. Morning 10 o'clock fever, afternoon 2 o'clock fever, night again 8 o'clock, same time the fever comes. Means complaints returning at the same hour, time, or moon phases. That is China. Chillness with thirst, sorry, chillness, then thirst, then heat, then thirst again. Tell it again. Chill, then thirst. The patient has chillness, wants to drink something. Then there is heat. Then patient wants to drink again something. Chill, aggravation by uncover. So wants to cover. This patient is wants to be covered. Clear cut stages of chill, heat, and sweat, like Naxomica. Chill, heat, and sweat all predominates. Chill, heat, and sweat. So chills beginning from legs. It starts from the lower extremities. Shaking chills. The patient shakes due to chills. Next is pulsatilla. Catarrhal fever. There is lot of catarrh in the nose, uh, in the respiratory tract, and along with that there will be fever and thirstlessness without chills, yet averse to heat. So the patient will be feeling chilliness, but still don't want heat. Patient is feeling chilly, still don't want heat, wants to uncover. Feeling chilly, but still don't want to cover, wants to uncover. So the indications are lower lip is cracked, bad breath from mouth, coated tongue are the characteristics. Cough, dry hacking cough with oppression in the chest. This is from the Boger. So desire lemonades is very characteristic. Mild patients, pulsatillas are weeping, cannot attend without weeping. So complaints are associated with or without weeping, but weeping is very characteristic of pulsatilla. It is that she is like a sheep. Okay, she is naive, mild, yielding disposition. So there is a changeability of the complaints, changeability of the mood. Morning she will be somewhat, afternoon she will be somewhat, and night somewhat. Next is ipecac, short chills, long fever. So this is very important. Short chills, and the fever is long. Chills without. Warmth and thirst. Vomiting at the end of chills. So the patient will be having chills. At last the patient vomits. Scanty sweat. Very little sweat. Scanty means little sweat. Heat stage may absent, but chill stage and sweat stage predominates. So there is long fever, but the chill and sweat are very important in ipecac along with gastric complaints. So dry cough and breathlessness causing nausea. The patient coughs, and there will be a nausea. Nausea means vomiting sensation after the coughing, and the patient vomits at last. The patient coughs, and feel difficulty in breathing, then having nausea, then the patient vomits. This is ipecac. And thirstlessness in all complaints with constant nausea, vomiting, salivation, and gastric complaints. So this remedy is very important. And in infantile fever, nowadays we are seeing some pediatric cases having attending with fevers and gastric complaints, and ipecac is wonderful remedy. And he say, Boger say, and Kent says it will cure the complaints of if the baby is having nausea, vomiting, loss of appetite, don't want to eat, uh, then ipecac is wonderful remedy, and it will heal the patient and bring the patient back, and the baby will be having good appetite on further. So Eupatorium perfoliatum is one of the good remedy for joint pains, along with fever. Fever morning at one day, noon at another day. This is very important. So one day I was having morning fever, next day afternoon fever, again next day again morning. So this is Eupatorium. Drinking hastens, chills and vomiting. If you take anything, then there will be chills and vomiting. So bone pains during fever, as I said before and during chills, scanty sweat along with backache. So the sweat is scanty along with backache. So thirst during fever and chills, that is Bryonia and China. There is thirsty during fever and chills, Bryonia and China. Wants to be covered, ipecac, idu Eupatorium. So this is very important. So these are the remedies should be thought of in the initial stages. There are still more remedies which can be thought of in the second stages of the infection. That is I classified in the section B, but it needs the reports and the moderately developed symptoms to prescribe these remedies. And in the second section, arsenic album is very good remedy, phosphorus is very good remedy, then kali carb is very good remedy, then ammonium carb is very good remedy, stannum metallicum is beautiful remedy, senega in old people, bromium is very good remedy, then antimonium arsenicosum is very good remedy, and carbo is also very good remedy. So these remedies are important in the moderate stage of pneumonia and well developed and moderately developed symptoms. So this I will talk in the next session. So this was the thing. What I basically feel is, let the junior doctors and my colleagues see the patients well and make use of it. I hope I have covered a few things, and there are many remedies in the Metromedica which have to be strictly individualized, but these are very important in the initial stages. So kindly consider these things and go ahead, and I will come up with the moderately developed symptoms and pneumonia like pathology in the next session if possible. Till that, take care and see you, and stay home, stay safe. Thank you.